We're all surrounded by this one thing. Can you take a guess? Well, the oxygens we're breathing, all the fake news we've been hearing. Well, the last one was kind of dark. But I would like to nominate one thing. Music. We are surrounded by music. Most of us love listening to music. A lot of us take it as a hobby. And try to dig deep into your memory. Do you know that song, Don't Stop Believing by Journey? Now, try to dig deep and recall that one guy friend who turned up the song, listened to it, and tried to sing along. And as he go closer to the chorus, he froze. Why? Because his natural vocal muscles doesn't allow him to. They have their own limits. This happens to all of us. We were born with vocal muscles that dictates what notes we can hit and what note we cannot hit. This created voice ranges, and in males there are 4 main ranges. Well, before diving in what they are, let's talk about one common issue. People think voice type and voice range are two same thing. Well, to be fair, they are two related things, but one is within another. Now here's a chart of what a voice type is. A voice type, it's like a whole iceberg, and the vocal range, it's just the tip of the iceberg. A voice, in order to determine a voice type, it requires a long list of other things. But vocal range on itself is the range of notes that we can naturally produce, and that's it. Which moves us to the next point. For the male population, there are 4 main vocal range. Wait, you thought it was 3? Wow. I'll save the surprise till the last. Let's start it from the bottom, because, well, that's how we do it. Bass is the first vocal range. It's actually the lowest range. These people can hit from D2 to E4. That's like 2 octaves lower than the middle C, which is C4, and a little bit above it, which is E4. You can find amazing bass vocalists in any a cappella group. The next one is baritone. It's they can sing a little bit higher than, this is the bass vocal, and they can sing a little bit higher than the bass vocalist. They can hit notes from G2 to G4. This is the most typical voice range for the male population in general, which is why they're it's so diverse within the same voice range. Michael Bublé and Charlie Puth are 2 examples. They're both baritone singers, but they have such different lights because they have different voice type. That's why earlier I said voice range and voice types are related things, but they're not the same. Both Bublé and Puth, they can hit, they have similar ranges of octaves they can actually hit, but they use their voice differently. Now the next range is actually tenor. Tenor is a little bit higher than baritone, and they can hit from C4, C3 to B4. I mean, you name it. Stevie Wonder or Elton John or any dream vocalist that you want to imitate. These guys is the highest vocal range that is well known by everyone. The one is the last one. Well, it says here alto, but for male, it's actually countertenor. Countertenor has the same vocal range with the alto, which is the lowest among the female vocal ranges. They can hit from E3 to F5. I mean, it's so high, it's sometimes confused with the women alto, but for male, it's countertenor. Well, in conclusion, there are 4 main vocal ranges for the male population: bass, baritone, tenor, and countertenor. Why? Well, now you know which range you fall into. And if you don't know just yet, just go home or try to find a piano and play the notes one by one until you cannot make that note anymore. Knowing this will make the use of your voice way more efficient, because when you know better, you do better.